What's up, folks? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the 3-6 Mafia album, Most Known Unknown. Now, this is actually the reissue that came out in 2006, so it basically has the songs from the deluxe version of Most Known Unknown, and then it also includes like a couple remixes and then the song Hard Out Here for a Pimp off the Hustle and Flow soundtrack. And I figured since I just reviewed Hustle and Flow, this was kind of like additional stuff from that kind of template, I would say, the hustle and flow mentality. So I would definitely kind of feel like 3-6 Mafia, they kind of live what that movie was talking about. So that's kind of the theme that goes along with that, and it's an excessively good project. I mean, this is one of my favorite 3-6 Mafia projects. The stuff that they did in the 2000s before they disappeared and broke up and stuff, it really started to get pretty nasty. And that's, definitely a good thing, but it just is too bad. Like, if you were to ask me a question about 3-6 Mafia, I'd have to tell you that I pretty much constantly continue to. I know obviously I don't want to sound too enthusiast about it, but I constantly kind of wish that they would have dropped the Laws of Power album that was supposed to come out in 2010. That's blasphemy that didn't come out. But this is their penultimate project, if you're not counting the Mafia 6, and it's extremely good. So we'll talk about the singles on this project and kind of get to it. So there were three. I mean, for the time, this was 3-6 Mafia's biggest project, because most of the time, when you think of albums where they had like Sippin' on Some Syrup and some of those songs from the early days, they only got like to the first and maybe second single, but this did it a little bit larger. So the first single was Stay Fly, and there's a remix of this song on here that has Project Pat and some extra cats, Trick Daddy, and who else? Slim Thug. So the original version of the song is real addictive. It's basically a club song, has a real neat hook, and I mean, it shows its age now, but it was like, considering that 3-6 Mafia was not mainstream before this point in 2005, it just kind of had them break out, kind of show what they were about, and kind of it's kind of like the title implies, the most known unknown. So that's kind of where they cracked even and showed that, they've been underground all this time, but when they do take a stab at doing mainstream, that's what you get. And so it's kind of like underground mainstream, which is definitely a good thing. That's the sort of stuff that I try to promote on Acid Roots. So good song there. I mean, but like I said, this is like the most popular. I think it reached like number 6 or number 13 on the Billboard 100. So it was a large song. So if they would have kept making songs like this, they might have become too commercial. But the second single came out in early 2006, and it was Poppin' My Collar. The one on this reissue also has Project Pat on here. It's another addictive song. It's kind of more of a swag song, which those songs used to kind of happen back in the late 2000s. But, just popping your collar, kind of cheesing, talking shit, doing that sort of stuff. That's kind of the way that song went. Yeah, it's good. I mean, the beat is not the best, but it's still, I don't care too much on this song just because it's so catchy and such an earworm. So, but then the third single, the original version of this song, the Side to Side, that was released as a single, didn't really get on this project. So there's two of them on here. One has Kanye West, one has Bow Wow. I prefer the Kanye West version. They're both essentially the same. Well, of the three versions of the song, the Bow Wow version is the same beat as the one on the old Most Known Unknown project, but the Kanye West one has a more like edgier feel to it. It just feels like they added like a gloss to it to kind of give it like a more creepy feel. That one with Kanye just feels a lot creepier. And Project Pat's on both of them. On a side note, I do like how Project Pat shows up with these guys because he has such good chemistry with them. The three members of 3-6 Mafia that were on here were Juicy J, Crunchy Black, and DJ Paul. There were only three of them when they made this album in 2005, but the thing about it was after the Oscars in early 2006, Crunchy Black kind of split from 3-6 Mafia and left it to just two of them. So obviously the reissue, that the one that I'm reviewing, came out like summer of 2006 or something like that. And unfortunately, when they did it, they, Crunchy Black doesn't have verses on some of these newer songs. So songs like the Side to Side remix and like Hard Out Here for a Pimp, the 3-6 Mafia version, you're not going to find any Crunchy Black versions, which sucks because the three of them, they were just nasty together. I mean, they had such uh, coherent nastiness. It just sucked that they did not have like they. I mean, if they would have planned this and said, okay, we're gonna do this with some extra songs and the boost that we got from the Oscars, it would have been nice for that to have happened. But for what it is, you kind of get Project Pat in some cases instead of Crunchy Black. But I would have liked all four of them instead. So that's just kind of the note. But Side to Side, all three of the singles kick ass. I mean, they're all Side to Side is a real underground song, and I can feel it just in how that works. I mean, it's a club song, but it just, they say in the song that they're not even trying to dance, they're just kind of leaning back and that sort of stuff. So it's a real creepy song. I think for folks who don't know about it already, you'll like it. But then, of course, just to go across the rest of this project, I don't really feel like I need to say too terribly much about this project just because out of 22 songs, I only didn't like 3. So I'm not going to review the skits, but that would leave 19 songs out of 22. But out of 19 songs, I wound up liking 16. So it's just easier to list the songs that I didn't enjoy, which would be Body Parts 3, Got It for Sale, and then Side to Side with Bow Wow. I mean, Side to Side with Bow Wow, I suppose I wouldn't even say I don't like that song just because it's the same version as like the original Side to Side, just with 2 extra verses on there. So that's not really too much of a complaint, but yeah, so you could say just basically the only 2 songs I wasn't that too keen on was just Body Parts 3 and Got It for Sale. Got It for Sale kind of feels, I mean, it has a good beat, but it feels kind of factory made, or not French Montana, but 3-6 Mafia. Um, yeah, this like most of these songs just have like an edge to them, but I mean that was on the deluxe, and it was probably the weakest of the deluxe songs that you got. And then Body Parts 3, I really didn't like the production on that. I mean that was supposed to be like a posse song, but uh, probably if it would have been creepier, more like a beat like Side to Side or Swervin' or Half on a Sack or something like that, or Hard Hit Us, I probably would have enjoyed that song because it's a kind of a waste of a song considering that Lil White, Fraser Boy, Project Pat, and the rest of those guys are all on there. So you would have thought that that would have been one of the best songs, but it was really kind of just nails on a chalkboard. So but now I'll talk about like some of the good songs, some of the ones I recommend entirely. Like most of these just kind of slip in. I mean, they're just like so they're so easy on the ears that it just kind of works that well. Swervin' just feels like you're sipping syrup, something like that. Hard Hit Us as a real creepy song. That feels like that could be like the 4th single or something like that. Half on a Sack is a smoking song. Pussy Got You Hooked is one of the lone songs for the ladies, but it works. It's just a real kind of low key, kind of juggalo chick kind of song. And when I pull up at the club, it's kind of a ballin' out song. I like the way that they talked. It was kind of a big boy song. And Roll With It was just kind of mellow, had Project Pat on there, but it was just day to day for them. So there's just plenty of shit to go around. You're bound to find something that you like. And then, of course, Hard Out Here for a Pimp, like I was saying. I like the 3-6 Mafia version more than the one on the Hustle and Flow soundtrack, but it doesn't have Crunchy Black, and it would have been so much more effective if it had. If they would have had like Project Pat, Crunchy Black on there, it probably would have worked. But I don't know. That's just between. I mean, for what they do, DJ Paul and Juicy J both dropped 2 verses on the song, so it's passable. But I was thinking, well, I don't know. It's just a good song, so it works. I mean, either version of the song is good, but that's like the only thing is it's just like damn, that all the dogs need to be on the song. So that's kind of how that goes. So I'm gonna give this album a 10 out of 10. Basically, me only like disliking 2 songs out of 22 is pretty damn good. So the social score I will give like a 9, just because you on this project you can't get the original side to side, which I think had Crunchy Black on there, but Kanye West really nailed it, and Bow Wow did good also. Project Pat, of course, bolstered the song. So I mean, honestly, that it's a good version, but I would have liked the original version too. So that's kind of the thing. It's just too bad that that's not on there. But yeah, 2 other singles. Stay Fly is good. If you like the Stay Fly remix, it has a slight gloss of a different feel also. So that's kind of the thing there. And then Poppin' My Collar has Project Pat on there to help. So that's kind of the thing. So all of the singles almost are new versions. That's kind of the situation. I wish that they would have dropped the 4th single, but honestly, they did a song with Chameleonaire and it was called something. I don't remember what it was called. It was like Doughboy Fresh or something like that. And I wish that they would have thrown this song on here, but by that point, obviously they'd been too far removed from it. But just to kind of say, I don't know where 3-6 was kind of headed in 2007, which would have been nice to have seen like some sort of special EP with the Chameleonaire song and other stuff. That's that's a whole different tangent, but yeah, so it works. So that's kind of me just talking. Wanting a 4th single, I'll give it a 9 because the 3 singles are good, but they're missing some things. Kind of downplaying Crunchy Black a little bit, and like the remixes sometimes replace the original version. So that's about the only thing. But basically, other than that, this is a very top-notch album. I mean, it soars. It's just the easiest thing to say about it. It just flies high and soars. So it gets a 10 out of 10 and a 9 social.